I like to think of it as words and thoughts are spells, spelling, and then our emotions and our beliefs about whatever it is of the spell that we're casting is the power behind it to give it momentum. Our intentions, when we're conscious and we set intentions about what we want, then the intention is like a bow and arrow that you can point in the direction of what you want, instead of your wants or desires just kind of being out in space with like no direction or no ground. And then our inspired action is what helps to bring that kind of spiritual concept into a physical 3D reality. And that is basically the law of attraction.
So find a way to
Hello, beautiful beings of light. My name is Monica. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is titled, Words are Spells, so use them wisely. So this is a pretty new topic that I have not discussed here on the channel yet. We're going to be talking about spells and about magic, and this I know can trigger a lot of people, especially people who may be very religious. I have gotten quite a few comments, not a lot, but some on my law of attraction videos stating that the law of attraction is magic and that it is evil. I don't personally believe that. I do believe in the concept of magic and the concept of black magic, which I don't do, I would never do. I believe that has some serious consequences to it, and it's dark, and we're not about spreading darkness, we're about spreading light. But that being said, like I said, I do believe in the concept of actual magic, if that's what you want to call it, but maybe not in so much the traditional sense like we see on Disney movies and things like that. And fun fact I don't believe I've mentioned yet is I actually was born into being a Jehovah's Witness, so that religion. And in that religion, you are not allowed to celebrate anything, no holidays, nothing that's considered pagan. You're not even allowed to celebrate your own birthday. I don't remember the exact reasons why, but I know they were very against having a cake and candles and making a wish and all of that stuff that was considered bad or evil. My mom and I stopped being Jehovah's Witnesses when I was about 13 years old, when I actually celebrated my first birthday. And I don't agree with a lot of their beliefs anymore. So that being said, I am spiritual. I am not religious, although I don't have anything against religion. I think there's a lot of really interesting things in religion that I believe are true and that I do agree with. I just take pieces from different beliefs and I form my own. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about how words are spells. So one of the very first things we learn when we start in kindergarten and elementary school is how to spell, or spelling.
We were supposed to be raised on telepathy. We still have telepathic powers, and this in part is the reason for intuition and feeling other people's energies. Language has been an attempt to cut off this connection. Every word we say is a magic spell. So spelling, spell casting, has been specifically used to denigrate our divine selves.
And then we have the word abracadabra that magicians use before they reveal a trick. And abracadabra originates from the Aramaic, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Aramaic phrase, abracadabra, which means I will create as I speak. I'm going to give some examples of words or phrases that are commonly used in our society that can have double meaning or sound like a different word with a different meaning that's maybe spelled slightly different.
Not to mention, sounds affect everything around us. The study of cymatics is the study of sound vibration on matter, and it has been demonstrated that vibrations and frequencies create geometric patterns in sand and other medium.
So for example, the most common one that always comes to my mind and that I have stopped saying is the phrase, good morning. The word mourning means having deep sorrow for someone who has died. I think it's very strange that we greet each new day with the phrase mourning as if it's a sad occasion. And so now I pretty much always say good rising or grand rising, meaning it's a great day to rise like with the sun. Another pair of words that we use is wake up. Every morning we wake up. A wake is defined as a social gathering held before a funeral. So after we wake up each morning, we typically go to our job where we earn a living. An urn is a place where we keep ashes for the dead. So when you start to think about how this is all adding up with the words of mourning and wake and earn, it's kind of eerily creepy when you really start to think about it.
For the average 9-to-5 worker, it would have to be one of the weekdays in order to earn a living. I agree, you would have to be in a weekdays to earn a living. During the week, we become weaker and weaker until finally it's the weekend, and we have become weakened. Somebody or something who is weakened has no power. And during the weekend, many of us turn to drink alcohol. Alcohol comes from the Arabic word Al-Kuhl, which is a body-eating spirit. It's also the source of the word ghoul. We drink booze or booze. Booze are synonymous with spirits who scare you, but what can you expect when you're drinking spirits? Alcohol has always been a medium for entities to flow through, and the effects in part demonstrate this.
Another interesting word to me is the word evil, which spelled backwards is live in reverse. And this is something that I have started to learn in my research about the truth, becoming a truth seeker, and what the world's actually about, is that anything that is considered light, good, holy in Satanism is reversed. So live, the word live is good and happy, and then they created the word evil, which is the opposite of that. Just like when they take a cross and put it upside down, because that is the inverted symbol of a cross that's normally standing up the right way. Symbols also have a lot of meaning, and I may make a video on this in the future. I've learned about this not because I wanted to join Satanism or anything like that. That's definitely not true. It's just come up in my research, and I've seen how much it has influenced the world, especially through symbols, and how a lot of us in society, when we're not aware of what these symbols or these words mean, we unintentionally pay homage or we pay energy to them. And I want to be very aware of where I'm putting my energy and what this stuff really means, or at least what it means to me. So that's why I think it's very important to bring these dark concepts to light, which is also what I do for light work. It just reminds me again of Star Wars, of like how they say to be a proper, I don't know if it was Jedi or if it's a proper Sith, but you're supposed to learn both sides of the Force, meaning the dark and the light. And then you can pick which side that you want to be for. And we definitely want to be for the light. And I'll insert a clip here about the word parents, a pair who rents. And this is the concept I kind of feel to be true, even though it's very negative. It's not very happy. And that is that children are born to their parents, a pair who rents, and we all get a social security number right away, or a tax ID, and our parents are just kind of taking care of us until we're old enough to join the working class of society, and then we're basically slave away for the government to make them rich. It's a very, like I said, it's a very sad concept, but this is how I feel about how this works, and, you know, take it or leave it.
We are born into this world. Born comes from the English word barren. Today's definition of barren is unfruitful, bleak, and lifeless. Our children, as designated by our language, aren't even ours. Parents are a pair who rents. Our governments, especially our courts, don't treat a parent's right to control and direct the upbringing of their child as a fundamental liberty. We're forced from a young age through many types of indoctrination, and our parents are helping in this process. Look at the word childhood. A hood is used to cloak and hide. The etymology of children is chill and dren. Chill means cold. Dren is a name meaning a strong and healthy individual. So children are strong individuals who must be chilled, made cold. Stay with me, this will all come together. In Ballantyne's 1948 Law Dictionary, the term human being says sea monster. When we see monster, we get the definition, a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. In the Oxford New English Dictionary of 1901, a human is defined as belonging or relative to man, as distinguished from God or superhuman beings. So these definitions are telling us we're monsters and have no inherent divine qualities. The word live backwards is evil. Our language is telling us we're born as monsters who are bleak and lifeless to a pair who rents us out to the government and other corporations that indoctrinate us. Our childhood is spent under a cloak, so our divinity will be hidden from us, and we're evil when we live.
I think we could definitely break away from that kind of slavery mentality and find our own financial freedom. So, and even though we still pay taxes, and we could live a more free life than what we're born into. And all of this to say, I just invite you all to be very impeccable with your words, also with your thoughts, because thoughts and words do make up our reality. It's just one part of it. And I like to think of it as words and thoughts are spells, spelling, and then our emotions and our beliefs about whatever it is of the spell that we're casting is the power behind it to give it momentum. Our intentions, when we're conscious and we set intentions about what we want, then the intention is like a bow and arrow that you can point in the direction of what you want, instead of your wants or desires just kind of being out in space with like no direction or no ground. And then our inspired action is what helps to bring that kind of spiritual concept into a physical 3D reality. Hopefully that makes sense. And that is basically the law of attraction. And so I have been more conscious about my thoughts and about the words that I use.
Our sentences are made up of words. The word sisters in Greek mythology were fates or witches who controlled the fates of man. Every word we say directly affects our reality and ultimately our fate. The Egyptian deity Thoth is said to have invented language and writing. The original purpose was to use words for magic. The words rite and rite are pronounced the same. A rite is a ceremony or ritual. Whenever we're writing with words or speak, we're initiating a ritual. Books contain chapters. A chapter often refers to a sect of a secret society or religious order. To page someone is to summon them. Pages in books made of words are summoning things to enslave or imprison our souls. The word grammar comes from the French word grammaire or grimoire. Grimoires were ancient magic books which contained instructions to summon demons.
Just like I said, I don't say good morning anymore. I say good rising. And with a lot of these words, I don't think that it's so important that we try and change all of our language, because these words are what they are. They mean what they mean. But I think it is important for us to understand where they come from, what the definition is, and kind of rephrase things a little bit if it feels in more alignment to us. Maybe not everything, because there's not always tons of words we can use for the same thing, but just to be aware. I believe that our subconscious does not know when we're joking or when we're being sarcastic or when we're being serious. It's just always listening, and it's always recording everything that we think about and everything that we say. Consciously, we may know that we don't really mean that, like a joke or a certain sarcastic remark, but our subconscious doesn't. And one thing that I've stopped saying is the phrase, "Oh, it's to die for." Because I really thought about it, and I was like, if something is so wonderful in life, why would you die for it? Wouldn't you want to live for it? So instead I say, oh, that's to live for, you know? And again, you don't have to take this so seriously. Like, I know a lot of people have sense of humors where they're very sarcastic and they joke a lot and they don't mean what they're saying. But again, just something to be aware of, because I know that that phrase no longer feels in alignment with me. It kind of makes me feel icky, so I just say to live for. Other sayings I don't say anymore is phrases such as "fuck my life." That just sounds so like nails in a chalkboard for me now, although I know it was a very popular saying for a long time. And another one is "life is a bitch and then you die." I actually took on that belief from an ex of mine who used to say that, and I actually started to believe it. And lo and behold, my life was not going in the direction that I wanted it to. Before I started finding out about the law of attraction, and before I started believing that the universe is actually conspiring in my favor instead of against me. And I believe that these words that have been created in our language, especially the English language, is intentional for our brains, our subconscious, to associate them with more negative, sad meanings such as mourning and wake and earn and all of these things. Also with the words week and weekend and alcohol, spirits, booze. So I believe it's up to us to really become conscious of the words we're saying, how we're using them. Like I said, become very impeccable with your word. And also very conscious about the words that we use for our manifestations when we're writing down the list of things that we want and the thoughts that we're thinking and all the reality that we're creating, because I believe that we're always creating our reality, whether we're conscious of it or we're not conscious of it. And if we're not conscious of it, other people outside of us will influence our reality more than we know, because we'll take on their beliefs as our own if we're not conscious about it. And one last thing I want to mention is, I know sometimes we have these habitual negative thoughts and we have to catch them as they're happening in order to be conscious of them and to change them. And if we find ourselves still thinking certain thoughts or having fears about certain things happening, then we can immediately, after we think the thought or say it out loud, we can think or say, cancel that. Like it's an order. Like, cancel that order. No thanks. I learned this from Anna Wood. And you can either put in a new order and arrange it the way that you want it to be instead of the fear-based thought, or you can just cancel it altogether if you don't have anything else that you want to input for an order to the universe.
Words act as electromagnetic vibrations, and it pulls us into confines by defining things in a reality made of free-flowing sine waves. It's just like the Saturn moon matrix projecting square waves on us. You could say we're helping in squaring our reality with these limiting sounds we utter from our mouth. And what's been given to us has been perfectly crafted, so we revel in language full of masochism and hatred for our divine selves. It's best we start learning to speak with a more conscious language. Everything we say is directly affecting this projection that we're all in. We can use our intention and words to create amazing realities.
Alright, that is my video for today. Hopefully this gave you something to think about, and maybe you'll get interested in looking up more words about where they originate, what the meaning of it is, and just keep being aware of your thoughts and your beliefs and your feelings and everything, really. We want to live a more conscious, present life. As always, hopefully I will see you in my next video. Namaste.